Good evening, good evening, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in. My name is Brian Smith from the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education, also from the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project. You are looking live right now to our conference. It's the second day of our conference. Last night we were talking about how to make it in the entertainment industry, but tonight it's all about the business, all about the business. It's Head Start. Launch your business. Do you need to know what you really need to know to start that money so you can get your cash flow going? Just in letting you know that the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project, it's a collaboration between the Youth Stars Foundation, the Money Project, and the Montreal Community Cares Foundation. Over 3 years ago, we came together to collaborate our resources to put together the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project so that we can together better serve the community, specifically the Black youth in the greater Montreal area and around. So we are wrapping up our project, and we said, hey, let's put together a youth conference. We're not going to let the COVID slow us down. Tonight, we've got 3 dynamic individuals who are going to be talking about their journey to entrepreneurship. And we are also going to be giving a presentation to the president and the founder of the Montreal Community Cares Foundation, Mr. Den Burke-Reid. Just letting you know, people, that the Youth Stars Foundation on June the 12th, they have the West Island United. It's a peaceful rally denouncing racism. This is going to be taking place Saturday, June 12th at 1 p.m. right behind Pierrefonds Community High School. That's 13800 Pierrefonds Boulevard in the West Island. Please join us in solidarity to take a stand against racism and all the ugly forms of injustice that takes place across the world. For more information, just go on to info@youthstars.org. Go on to the website. Please like and share this information. Together, we can all make a difference. But making a difference tonight, we, as I said, we've got 3 dynamic speakers, and I'm going to bring them to you right now, one by one, and then we're going to get together and just have a nice, what they call it, a fireside chat. So first on board, she is a personal stylist. That means she makes everybody look good. She's a young entrepreneur, and she's from Montreal. I bring to you right now Sabrina Ariel.
Hey everyone. Hi Brian. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm super excited to be on here tonight and to share with all of you watching my experience as a personal stylist and as an entrepreneur as well. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share my passion with you guys.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. Up next is we'll call him, he's a motivational speaker. He's an entrepreneur. He's a social entrepreneur. And if you have the time to go from country to country, town to town in the airports, I've ran into him a couple of times in the airports for business travel. He is a dynamic speaker. I believe he's originally from the United States. That's where his journey's coming from. And everybody knows him as a poet, spoken word, entrepreneur. He's all over the place. I bring to you none other than Sven Telemak. I think you got to get...
That's that amateur mistake. But all that to say, thank you very much for having me, Brian. I think these conversations are very important for us to learn from each other, because we'll never go really far if we don't pick up from everyone else's mistakes and as well as wisdom.
Thank you very much. Our third panelist tonight, she has a very long resume. She is a businesswoman. She is an artist. She is an author. She is a speaker. She is a coach. She is a mentor. She is a ball of energy. I bring to you Catherine Claradonna.
Woohoo! Listening to my name in English, it's so weird and so beautiful at the same time. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm very excited to be part of this. Very happy to share my experiences with you guys. And if you have any question, bring it on. And I'm very happy, Can't wait to share all of that with you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So right now, I'm going to bring all three of you on board. Tonight, we are on a different platform. We're not on Zoom. We're on a platform which is called StreamYard to kind of give you a more dynamic, professional experience. Everybody, I also want to let you know, kudos to Canadian Heritage, which is actually the main funder for this project. And I also want to give a shout out to Domino's. Yes, Domino's Pizza, who provided us with support to make this event possible. If you are watching this on Facebook, please share the live. If you are watching on YouTube, please share it. Get it through all your social media networks. We want this to, get out to as much people as possible. This event will also be recorded so you can go back and watch it afterwards. So we are here to talk about Head Start, launching your business, what you need to know. I'm going to start with you, Svens. You have a very, very interesting background. I'll tell you, when I first met you, you were giving a presentation. You were speaking about, I believe it was the broken crayons. And it still resonates in my mind today. It's very, very impactful. Some of the basic things in life that we kind of take for granted. So I'd just like for you to tell the people a little bit about your background, because it's not everybody who has seen you. Everybody's probably heard of you, but maybe this is the first time people are hearing you speak live.
All right. So thank you, Brian. In a nutshell, I was born here in Montreal. My parents got divorced when I was a baby. My mom decided to move to Miami, Florida. Unfortunately, I was raised in a very bad environment. I became a product of my environment, and as early as 15 years old, I found myself on the wrong side of the law, being incarcerated. I had a lot of anger issues. The first time I got arrested was actually for breaking into someone's home and beating somebody up. At 34, that sounds like something major, but at 15, that just sounds like revenge. You get what I mean? Mm. And the last time I got arrested was for gun possession when I was about 19 years old. And in between those two arrests, I was repeatedly arrested for selling crack cocaine. By the grace of God, I was never incarcerated for the level of stuff that I was involved in. So when I got off on my gun possession charge, meaning I was found, they didn't have enough evidence to prosecute me or whatever. So when I got off on that, I really took the time to really reflect on my life and what it is that I wanted. One of the things that got me to slow down was a situation that was kind of unique, because by the time I was 19, people have already tried to kidnap me, been hit by a car. People pulled out guns on me, tried to shoot at me. And there wasn't really much to get me to slow down. I had friends that were being deported. I had friends that I were burying from the age of 17, 18 years old. But what got me to really reflect was when I started to think about my impact on other people. So one day I remember I was selling drugs and this woman approaches me and she has no money, right? And in order to make money on the street, you can't be stupid. You follow me? It's not just you stand on the corner and you just make money. You got to watch out for people trying to snitch on you, rivals. You got to watch out for the police. There's so much layers to it. You get what I mean? If you want to last out there. And what I was not prepared for was a woman to approach me with no money, trying to get high. And she had her son with her. And she basically offered me her son's PlayStation to get high. So that was not something that I could mentally prepare myself for. And my ego could not protect me from the humanity in that situation. You follow me, right? So on the inside of me, it was like Mortal Kombat. I just died on the inside of me. And I was like, man, I don't want to take this man's PlayStation. But what really got to me is that even if I didn't take it, somebody else would.
Yeah.
And looking at him, knowing that he would see me and remember me as the monster, I don't know. I saw his mom and you know Super Mario, right? In Super Mario,
Yeah.
you get that star and you become invincible. Like you can go through anything.
Mhm.
I felt like his mom did not have that star because she was like an addict. She was basically a zombie. She had no more life. You follow me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And me, in my mind as a youth, I felt like if I could just get money, I would be like that star and I would be able to go through everything and anything. Nothing could stop me. But at that moment, I was stopped. And I had to ask myself real questions. You follow me? And what's really funny is now as a social entrepreneur, I put money on the side because I'm not led by money anymore. You follow me? For a couple of years, I've been doing what I'm doing now completely for free.
Okay.
Because of passion, because of what I really love. You follow me? So that's what I would say. And when I moved here to Montreal, you know, I tried the traditional route, tried to get a job that didn't fit me. I tried construction that didn't fit me, did university. I wanted to do whatchamacallit. I wanted to get into marketing because I've always loved business. That didn't work because of math. I tried all of these different routes, you know, and at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I was at Concordia taking a marketing yourself course, and I had to come up with a business. I never saw myself speaking. The closest I saw myself speaking was rapping because that was always my thing, rapping, poetry, and all that. So while I was there, I had to come up with a business. I just didn't know which direction to go. And then, you know, I saw a high school speaker and I just jumped on it.
Okay, Spence, we're gonna put a pause there. Everybody has a journey. I think, you know, there's so much promotion even today about, you know, entrepreneurship, going to business, but everybody has a journey before they actually take that step. So we're gonna bring everybody up to speed, and then we're gonna have a chit chat together. So I'm gonna go to Catherine next. Just a little bit about your journey and where you are today. We don't want to know right away, but just
Sure.
a little bit of the journey.
You know, I realized I was an entrepreneur, not a businesswoman. But I'll explain the difference after. Because, you know, business people, they maybe have their businesses, and entrepreneur, we are the business, you know? So back in my teenage years, I remember when I used to go to school, sometimes it was boring, but my friends were always telling me, we want to go to school just because we know we can have a chance to hang out with you.
Oh.
So I was like, oh my God, okay, that's very kind of, it's very, very weird, but very like, I saw like people were so passionate. I loved, you know, sharing with people, but I couldn't put a word on it because they never talk to you about being a storyteller or a speaker when you're a kid, or an author or things like that. So for me, I thought it was just, you know, me having fun. And now I know it was me like developing my gifts, you know, of being a speaker or entertainer, like bringing a crew together, techniques of leadership. Okay. So, I mean, when they talk to me about the, you know, tips to head start, like to start your business successfully, I was like, oh my God, where should I start? And I was like, okay, no, I remember myself being a 15 years old girl and not knowing I was doing any type of business, but actually this is what I was doing without knowing it, but I was more enjoying it, you know. But with time now, I know, you know, you have to know how to make money out of it too. Because for me, when I was like passionate, I couldn't not know how to fix the price on what I love, you know, because they tell you, you know, you have to go to work, and then when you have money, you do what you love, but they never tell you, find what you love. And then, you know, so for me, it was like kind of weird of telling someone how to start successfully your business. So what I can tell you now, it's like the mindset. I always knew I wanted to be I wanted to fulfill my life doing what I love and helping and contributing to my society, you know. Now it's different for everybody, you know. There's people they're very business oriented and they know, you know, I'm gonna sell, I don't know, my cell phones or things like that, and it's good too, you know. But there are people like me, more atypical, like we're kind of gifted, multi-gifted, whatever.
Okay.
And like trying to figuring out what to do exactly. And then I finally find a way to merge everything through writing, through speaking, or even in business, because I also work in business as a business consultant, right?
Okay.
But this is not what I want to put forward
Up front. Yeah.
This is, you know what I mean?
Forward.
For me, what's important, it's, you know, it's my book. It's like helping someone grow their businesses or their personal life. So I think I'm a life coach.
Okay. You like to see other people succeed, and it makes you feel good.
Exactly. It makes me feel good. I love it. It's just, for me, I learned it too with my plants. I know it's weird, but okay, let me tell you. When you're like pouring water into something and you're seeing it growing, but it doesn't take one day, you know what I mean? I have plants with me like 3 years ago. And last time someone came to help me move some furniture and he took the plant and the plant was like suffering after. And I cried. And he was like, why are you crying?
Okay.
I'm like, you don't understand. I help it grow, so I know how it feels. And for me, whenever I look at it, I'm like, patience, Catherine. It's not gonna take one day for you to succeed. It's just the same, you know. It's gonna take months, years, but you're still growing.
Okay. So making people feel good is important. Sabrina, you make people look good. What's your journey?
Well, you know, it's funny when you say that, because a lot of people think that personal style is all about the appearance, right? How you look, how you present yourself. But I feel like there's different facets about personal styling. And it's one of the reasons why I've decided to pick that field specifically. If I go back about 10 years ago, a little even over that, when I was in high school, actually, I remember like the options that were offered to us were very traditional routes, and I was not interested in none of these options. And I always thought to myself, I want to do something that is creative. When my friends were at school, they were always telling me, oh, Sabrina, you're always so stylish. For sure, you're not going to stay in this town. You're going to go far in life, blah, blah, blah. They would say things like that. And I believed it too. I believed that I did not want to stay in that town. I wanted to go out and I wanted to fulfill my dreams. And I always wanted to be in the fashion industry. And I used to live in Ottawa. So obviously Ottawa is not the fashion town. So at 16, I've decided to leave my hometown, move to my aunt's house here in Montreal. And it might sound crazy. Now, I'm not saying to everyone who's 16 to move out. It's not necessarily the best thing to do. But for me, it was the right timing. I was mature enough and I went to live with family. So I arrived here in Montreal at 16 with absolutely no life experience. My mother used to do my laundry. Now I was there with my aunt having to figure everything out by myself. And when I arrived to the school, I loved the program, loved what they were teaching. I loved the business aspect of fashion. But there was this thing inside of me during the whole process of the time while I was at school telling me, I actually want more than this. For me, like the fashion industry was way too superficial. And I always had this heart for the people. I always wanted to empower people. I always wanted to be that person that helped someone reach their goal and tap into their full potential. So I thought to myself, how can I actually be able to merge those two passions together? So I ended up graduating my class, my program, and I had different jobs offered to me to work in different industries, like at Aldo and all sorts of head offices, fashion headquarters like that. And I told myself, no, I cannot do this. This is not what I actually want. My parents were entrepreneurs. I wanted to follow their footsteps, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I did not want a traditional business. So one thing I've done, and I think that it's a very important aspect of my journey, is that I started to try different things and learn about different industries as well to figure out where I wanted to go. And while I was going through that process, that's when I found personal styling. And I saw how I was able to empower women in their journey of transforming their style, but also to empower them on the inside and help them tap into their full potential. So that's how I was able to really merge the two together. And since then, that's what I've been doing. And I can't wait to share more tips and insights on how I was able to go from that 16-year-old girl who started at LaSalle College wanting to pursue her dreams in the fashion industry, and the woman that I am now, owning my own business and helping women.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live. It's Head Start, Launch Your Own Business, What You Need to Know. This is a presentation brought to you by the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project. We have with us tonight Sven Telemak, Catherine Claradonna. I got that right. How do we pronounce that in French? How would we say that in French?
It's Claradonna.
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 I like the English one better. You know, it sounds,
Exactly, I love it.
It's exotic.
And Sabrina Ariel. There are so many resources available for entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, but before we even get into that, and that's why I wanted to start with a journey, and this is something that I'll just put out to anybody who wants to pick it up. I'm talking about, you're now in a position, you're thinking about starting your own business or being an entrepreneur or whatever it may be, and there's that little doubt in the back of your mind that says, you know what, oh my God, maybe you have a job, maybe you have a regular paycheck, and then you have to find a way, to cut the cord or move away to do your own thing. And I find that a lot of reasons why people don't go into business for themselves is that they're comfortable or fear of having, not getting that check. It could be fear of even being successful sometimes. I just want to put that out there. How were the three of you able to overcome this fear?
Can I?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember I was like 21 years old when I finished my bachelor degree. I always knew that I wanted to have my own business, but I had no clue what to do exactly. So what I did myself, I started to work with one of my friends who's really into business. He had a clear vision, and I learned a lot with him, working with him. So sometimes people think, okay, I have an idea, I want to do it, but they don't know how. There's a point of your life you need to be very humble, to know when it's the time for me to learn with someone and when it's the time for me to put out there what I've learned. You know what I mean? So for me, my path, working with him, he was like starting his own business too. So I started to work in a startup. So for me, I saw how he built his company from scratch. So, with years, I have experiences in accounting, like business management, human resources, and what I've studied is human resources management and law of employment. So working with in that type of industry, I've learned so much that it helped me overcome some type of fears, like, am I gonna be able to do it? I saw someone super close to me doing it. Why not me? But one day, the thing is, everybody has their own path. So it's not because for someone actually starting I don't know, in January 2020, for example, and you're starting January 2022, 20 also means that you're gonna have the same type of success that you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's what I think makes people fear even more. They compare themselves too much with others.
Mhm.
I do that because we don't have the same background, you know.
Exactly.
I started to work with someone who started to work when he was like 13 years old. At 13, I was chilling.
Yeah.
I was being a kid, you know. So he already knew, he had so much more experiences. I'm talking to you like 10 years of experience more than someone. It's a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So and also like overcoming your fears doesn't mean that even if you're doing it, it's not. I'm still scared, you know. It's new, it's very new for me what I'm doing now. I'm a first-time author, first-time talk show host, first time everything. But I just do it anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I'm scared.
Okay, Spence,
super
Spence, with your story, the streets of Miami, was there any fear for you becoming a social entrepreneur?
For sure. And my fear, the first fear was like overcoming my fear of speaking in public. Like some people don't know, but like when I was rapping, when I would go to like clubs and perform, I would be really scared. That's how I got involved in spoken word, because I needed to build that stage presence. But like I can give you an example. I was doing a tour in Florida and I had a very good friend of mine, Cortez, with me, right? And we were at the University of we were at FSU. We were at FSU, and while we're there, I got a gig to speak to some university students, right? But because I never had a degree yet, I was so scared because I felt like, man, these people are educated.
An imposter. Yeah.
And that's very important, that imposter syndrome or whatever you want to call it. So I was like, hey, Cortez, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, you know? So I'm in the bathroom and she's like, man, she pulls me out of the bathroom and she's like, I know why you're doing that. You scared that you feel like you don't have what it takes. And when she pulled me out and I got in the right mindset, they loved everything that I had to say. And I was able to connect with them because I stopped focusing on how I did not connect. You follow me? So I would say on another level, when it comes to that fear, is to not follow the hype and to be patient. And my example is clear. When I was working at FedEx, right? At one point I was working at FedEx. There was a position to work from home, but I had to work like 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., 4 days out the week. But that gave me a 3-day window to travel. So all the times that you met me there, it was like I was still working, but I had a window where I could work on my gift. And I did not entrust myself with time until I proved to myself that I was worthy of that time. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you have this ideal, you have this dream, but be wise. Give yourself space to grow into it, you know? And you like, I remember at one point when I quit my job, I had so much time, I didn't know what to do with it. So I ended up wasting a lot of time because I wasn't focused. You follow me, right? So find that recipe. You know, you might be working 25 hours a week or 40 hours a week because you still got needs, but put yourself in a position to earn your own trust, you know?
Wow.
So now when I have 15 hours, I use those 15 hours in a way like I would never use, because I know all I have is 15. So I need to make this 15 make me go where I need to go. And with time, as you become more responsible and more disciplined with your time, you'll see that, you know what, I need to take this to the next level.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, you will never get to anywhere you want to go with fear. You have to choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Drop the mic. No, I love what Spence was saying. I want to share a little story, and I think that a lot of people are going to be able to see how I was able to really not only just dip my toes into fear, but just like throw myself in there. And I feel like that's really what you must do as an entrepreneur. I remember it was about 5 years ago. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do exactly. Did I want to become a personal stylist, or did I wanted to also do event planning and event decorating? And I was just trying to figure out which one of them I wanted to do. And at some point I said, you know what? I'm going to do personal styling. And if it doesn't work out, I don't love it, I'll just jump to the next thing, but I have to make a decision now. So it's funny because not too long after I made that decision, I was invited to speak at a women conference with a few hundred women. And there I had to share about some fashion tips. And I told myself, okay, you know what? In about 3 months, I'm going to be in front of about 500 women, and I'm going to be able to share my experience with the fashion industry. And I'm like, I could actually launch my business. This would be the best timing for me to be able to do it. But I don't have a business. I don't have a website. I have nothing. So within 3 months, I figured out how to create a website. I figured out how to create my business cards. I got them printed. I developed services. I learned about the industry. I learned about everything so that I was able to have something to present when I was going to be there, because I thought this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if I still wait, I will never be able to get that chance again. So I've decided to do that. And on that day, I presented my business as if it was already a business. And I told people about it. But here's what I did. And that's really the key here for me, is that I've decided to offer my services for free. And here's why. I wanted to gain experience. I wanted to give to people. And that's how I was able to figure out, okay, my strengths are here and my weaknesses are here. This is what I must work on. So I feel like sometimes the pressure we get and the fears that we get are because we are scared that we're not going to make money. But if your focus is not on money, but your focus is on serving, people will run after you to give you their money when you actually build that experience and you build that expertise. But I feel like so many young people think that they're experts because they read one book, No, it's not about that. You have to actually go on the field and make it happen. And that's what I did. And like I said, I threw myself into the lion's den. It was the most, like you were saying, like you were scared to speak in public. That's definitely a fear of mine as well. But I know that it's necessary for me to be able to grow, to get out of my comfort zone. So fear, I feel like you have to use fear as a fuel and not something to stop you from accomplishing your gifts and potential.
Words of wisdom, words of wisdom. People, you are looking live. It's Head Start Launch Your Own Business, put on by the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project, sponsored by Canadian Heritage and Domino's. So here's something too as well. I mean, I look at myself, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a social entrepreneur. I've been working since I've been 11 years old from a paper route, but that paper route showed me how to make money, save money to where I am today. A lot of tips, and I do a lot of financial literacy. The next thing that I would say to you is, we see 3 successful people in front of us today. However, I know that sometimes some people do not see the hard work that goes behind it, right? We see the finished product, but they don't know, say, the hours, the struggle, the pain, the highs and the lows. They just see the finished product. That's something as an entrepreneur people don't see it. And if you maybe talk about that, and also after this too, I want to encourage people who are watching. Please send us your questions. After this last question, this last topic, we're gonna start to get into some questions. But I think it's very, very important that we talk about these things.
Well, you know what? I can jump in because I feel like recently I've decided to put myself out there more and to challenge myself a lot more as well. And at the end of last year, I've decided to launch an online course. And it's something that I've never done. No experience, no background. I just Googled everything and I built my course from A to Z. And it was one of the most challenging things that I've done because I had to take care of every single aspect of it. Create the platform, create the course, create the outlines of the course, build the online strategies, create a space on my website for people to make payments, the marketing, the ads, everything I had to take care of. And I've learned so much. And it's crazy how we have so much more inside of us than we think.
Exactly.
And I feel like when you put yourself, that's something that I personally do. And for those that it works, for me, it works. So I don't know if it works for you, but I think it's something that is worth trying, to give yourself some tight deadlines. I did all of that within, I would say, about like a month and a half. And I was working tirelessly. I was just waking up at 6 a.m, going to bed at 2 a.m. every single day, because I promised myself that I was going to finish it on that day. And I feel like sometimes when you give yourself too much time, you don't end up accomplishing anything. But when you put a little bit more pressure on your shoulders, and it's positive pressure, you're able to surpass what you thought was possible. So for me, it was such a challenging period, a lot of stress. But at the end of it, I was so proud of me, because I saw that if I decide to put my heart and my mind to it, I'm capable of doing something that I thought was impossible.
Right.
I love it. Well, I mean, I can tell you, since COVID, I haven't stopped working. It's like crazy. But you know what? It's different when you love it. It's when like you see a mom and she's tired, but she's still gonna wake up to feed his baby. And I think it was the same thing that I lived. Writing a book took me nine months. I gave myself the same tight deadline, just as Sabrina said. So, so that's why.
Our friends.
And and also creating talk shows. You know what I loved about it's weird to say the quarantine, le confinement. Comment on dit confinement en anglais?
Quarantine.
Quarantine, yeah. It's you had so much time to do things you thought that would take you, forever. I decided for real, to use it. We were in time of social distancing, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get closer to my dreams. If I can't see you often, let me do something for me, and then I'll see you after. We'll chill after. You know what I mean? And just telling someone and being vulnerable too. Some people maybe when they think it's really easy for you to being successful. And what is it to be successful? I don't know. For real, for everyone, it's different. For me, being successful, it's doing what I love, empowering others, being able to sleep well, being healthy. For me, this is my success. Relationships around me, these are my success. What I'm doing now, business or whatever, these are extra. And I think we can see it now, since we're in a very confused world with all that's happening now. We can see people, I've worked with businesses, people who had a lot of money, and they had to sell their own business, And I realized, oh my God, okay, what can I do now? What can I do? What can I do to be different? So even if we're in a world crisis, my business can still work. Yeah. And I realized it's me. I have to take care of myself.
Yeah. You have to be able to be adaptable, to adapt, Souplesse. Exactly. We say in French, souplesse.
Souplesse.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. To be able to adapt. And this is, in school, sometimes they talk to you about your IQ, but now they're talking about AQ, adaptability, the way to being able to adapt, to adjust, or emotional EQ, emotional whatever, whatever. And so it's a lot of work, but it's worth it at the end, because you're really proud of yourself and seeing people also like telling you, oh my God, you did a great job, or even if they don't tell you whatever, you can congrats yourself and cheer for yourself, you know.
Okay.
That's it.
Friends, success. People see the success, but some of them don't see the hard work to bring the fruits, right?
Unmute.
What I would say with the success part is, especially on the speaking tip, it is definitely something that I find is very difficult. And number one, success defined. The first time that I had a different definition on success was Napoleon Hill, right? From Think and Grow Rich, and he defined success as just a worthy goal and you reaching that goal without doing wrong. Whether that's being a teacher, a janitor, a personal stylist, a speaker, whatever it is. And for me as a speaker, I feel like success can look in so many, have not a lot of impact.
Exactly.
Right? So what is your real goal? And my goal has always been to make impact, but at the same time, get what I feel like I'm valued. And something else when it comes to success is about payment, is a concept that I've come up with, is no one could actually pay you. They tip you. Like when I think about my book, or when I think about my services, you can't pay me. You can't afford me.
Exactly.
What you're paying is just a resentment fee. It's a tip. That's it. It's just a tip for my time, because the things that I've been through, you follow me, to produce that person, to produce those words or whatever, it's not something that can be purchased. I'm giving it away. You're just giving me an honorarium to honor what it is that you see. So I feel like success is not Instagram real. Success is not followers online. Success is what you define it to be. And if like I forgot if it was Sabrina or if it was Catherine, like one of the big killers with success is comparison. Comparing yourself to somebody else, like Catherine said, and Sabrina as well. It's like you don't know the time that people put into their hustle and into their gift. You get what I mean? And some people are just naturally like that is their thing.
Exactly.
You follow me? Like I'm not gonna try to come up here and dance. Yeah, I'm gonna lose everybody. Like you know what I mean?
Same for me.
Okay, I don't feel too bad.
No,
So
Catherine. If Catherine dances,
she's a
good, not me.
She's a pop star, basically. But like on the end, everybody got their thing, and you can't come. The best way to compare yourself is to compare yourself is with yourself.
Exactly.
Based on what you know and what you should be responsible for, and success is what you define it to be.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. People, as I said, this is the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow project. Also want everybody to know as well, at the end of the event here tonight, we are going to be raffling off a jersey from the NHL. It's Victor Hedman Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. There you see it right there, autographed. Thank you very much to the NHL Foundation for providing that. And special shout out to Brittany Wong from the NHL, who was on the call yesterday. So we have authentic gears to give away. It's not, and I actually have the jerseys here. People say, "Oh, it's fake." No, I got the real thing. I got the FedEx box. It's shipped in from New York City. So one thing that is common for all three of us, common denominator, we are all black.
What?
Yeah. We're black. We're from the what they call it, the African diaspora. That's what they call it. They call it. And recently, and when I say recently, since the unfortunate transition, the murder of George Floyd, there's been a lot of resources, and I'm just going to talk Canada-wide, that has been pumped into the black community. There's a black ecosystem, they're calling it, for entrepreneurs that's being set up right now through initiatives from the federal government. I don't know if any of you are familiar with a group called Transet Transet. So kudos out to Louis Edgar, Mr. Edgar out there, and I know Greg Excellent, I know Ed Vertus, and the team over there. They're very, very, doing some great work. And there's a loan organization that has been started up. It's called Federation of African Canadian Economics. They're going to be launching quite soon, where people from the Black community can go for funding. There's also in Toronto, there's a group called the Black Opportunity Fund. There's also the Black North Initiative. My question to you, is it real, the struggle of being Black and an entrepreneur where we are living here in Montreal or Canada? Is it a challenge?
I can speak for myself. I don't think that I've never experienced direct racism when it comes to my business. Like no one ever did any remarks or said anything negative towards me. But here's what I know. I know that a lot of us Black people do not get as many opportunities because it's, especially like in my industry, in the fashion industry, it's a closed circle. They always hire the same people. It doesn't matter if you're qualified or not. It's just a question of connections. And obviously, when you are first generation here or second generation here, you don't have as many contacts maybe in the industry as someone else whose mom was born here, and for generations they've been here, and they can just connect you with the right people. So I think that connections play a role, but for myself, I've never experienced it directly. But I can give you a very an example that's very close to me. My husband is an entrepreneur as well, and he had to change his last name on his business card to his mom's last name because we're both mixed, right, white and Black, and he had to change his last name on his business card when visiting businesses because they would not call him back. And they would ask, "Oh, do you work for Bell?" So he had racist comments like that were made towards him, and he changed it. And then he didn't get those people saying those types of things, or he was able to get callbacks. Now, is it the thing to do? Everybody, I think, reacts differently to these types of situation. I think that it's unfortunate that he has to do this. I'm the first one to say it. Some people will just be like, you know what, if you don't like me, don't do business with me. But when you have to bring in money in your household, sometimes you have to get creative, unfortunately, that way. And he was able to see results from it. Now, I know other friends of mine who are Latinos as well. I think of my friend that he changed his last name as well. Catherine, too, at some point when you were working, you were changing your last name for Di Clardona for Italian.
Italian.
Like, not Italian on the phone. I mean, it's so unfortunate, but that's the reality. And sometimes some people have to play with it so that they can actually make it. So it's for me, it's very sad to see that, but I've never experienced it personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of what Sabrina said. I've never experienced something very rough when I listen to some other people like sharing their testimony. First, because when I started to work here in Montreal, it was a startup. So I started to work with a bunch of immigrant people too, so and then I was always I had always position of leadership position, like recruiting. So I've never had someone telling me I'm not hiring you because you're Black. I was the one hiring, so but I know it's you had to be kind of creative. Now I can say maybe it was because I'm Black, but I've never put it in, is it because I'm Black or because being an entrepreneur, it's just
hard.
Just hard. So I had to be creative. So I've never thought it was my race or my color that puts me limit, on what I'm supposed to do, because I've never had like a no for yeah, I don't know, but I know it's very it's very sad when
Yeah.
you listen to that type of things. But you know, as an entrepreneur, it's just a struggle anyway.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's being Black entrepreneurs in what I'm doing, not at all. I don't know. I can have a clear answer. I'm sorry.
No, it's very vast. But I guess the thing is yourself. I mean, you're such an outgoing person, but have you ever been in a situation where they said just the fact that you're Black, just the fact that you're full of confidence, that it could have made somebody else, feel uneasy?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've had someone who told me already. You're gonna meet. You're gonna. I'm gonna introduce you to my employees. You're gonna probably get along because they're Black too. And I'm like, what? I get along with everyone.
Mhm.
But for me, it was that person is just stupid. But I know racism comment, but
Mhm.
because the thing is, I'm born in Haiti. I was born in Haiti, where the majority is Black. So I don't live the racism just like my cousins in the U.S. lives the racism.
Mhm.
I came here, I was 18 years old, then went to university and started to work with my good friends and have a leadership position like right away. So it was really different. For me, it was like I was in a bubble, listening to people telling me what they used to live. And my name is not really like, I don't know, Catherine Cardona. They don't know where I'm from.
Mhm.
Well, my cousin, and even if I took my mother's name, it's Beaulieu. It's like such a.
It's French.
Before we bring Sven's in, have you ever been to an event and you went there and people thought that you were Italian, that they were going to meet an Italian person?
No, they thought you were gonna be. They told me we're waiting for Catherine, and I was like,
This is
it's me. I'm like, oh, well, the thing, it wasn't my color. It was because I was young too. I was like 21 years old. Started working in the hot hotel industry, and people were like, human resources manager. We're waiting for Catherine Cardona, so they thought I was Italian, like a 50 years old woman. And then I come here, I'm like 21 years old, I'm Black, and I'm a kid. And they were like, what's going on? We don't trust you. But then, you make your name, you let your work and your name work for you.
That's right.
I would say that I have a different response to it. As a speaker, I haven't felt it necessarily with the people I've done business with. Sometimes I felt like maybe expectations sometimes were low, but business to business, yes. So for example, I remember one time going to the RBC in Anjou, right around like a big shopping center.
Oh yeah, nearly Galerie d'Anjou. Yeah. I know exactly.
Not this one, but it's like on the Renault La Pointe.
Yeah, well,
around there, there's a police station really close. So I go to the RBC to make a deposit or take money out or whatever. And for the first time in my entire life, I've been banking with RBC ever since I've come to Canada. Lady asked me, "Is this your bank account?" When I give her my business bank account, my business debit card, and I'm like, "What you mean?" She's like, "Is this your account?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my account." That's one. And the most flagrant one is I had a tour in Nova Scotia in Halifax, right? The minute that I go to the hotel, and we're not talking about some super fancy hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to kill myself in the hotel. So I get to the hotel. You know when you go to the front desk and they're supposed to take your information? Her jaw literally dropped. I could have put my fist in her mouth. Like her jaw dropped. And she just stared at me literally for like 45 seconds. Her coworker had to look at me and I'm like, "What's wrong with her?" And he's like, "Don't mind her." You know what I mean? And I checked in, and as I'm grabbing my baggage and stuff, I see the lady still dropping with another white lady, and they're just looking at me, and I'm like, what's the issue?
Because you're hot.
Mm.
I don't think that's what it was.
Kind of like you, I've gone through experiences like that myself, like at the bank, but it was more personal. It had nothing to do with business. Like I went to the bank and the lady was like, "Oh, you look good for a Black girl. I mean, your hair, it's like not as like, you know what I mean? Like not as like," and I'm like, no, I really don't understand what you mean, right? So I would get comments like that all the time, like, "Oh, where are you from? What's your race?" And then like comments like that, but it was really more towards me, not as as a businesswoman. Yeah, exactly. So I've never experienced that.
You're sitting a bunch, though.
But do you find though that being a Black entrepreneur, person of color, do you feel that there's more pressure on you to, not to sound as far as successful, because you said everybody has their own level, you know, being successful means something for everybody, but you find that there's more pressure on you to be the best that you can be?
For me, being a woman entrepreneur, it's not the Black. It's for me, it's being a woman entrepreneur. I feel I have more pressure to perform, or not to perform, more like you have to explain yourself. And it's not something that I really love doing sometimes, you know. Recently, I was looking for, oh my God, what's the name in English? A media, whatever. Someone, relationniste de presse. Relation de presse.
A publicist?
A publicist, yeah.
Yes, a publicist. So I met a man. That's what he's doing, and he said, "I've been talking to the guys you're working with, and they said you're very exigeante." Word in you're very
persistent.
Not picky, but like
persistent.
Yeah.
Picky, but
no.
Persistent. Or you're very on hands-on.
She
has high standards.
Yeah, you have high standards. So he said, "I don't know if I can work with you. I don't know if you're gonna love my work and stuff like that." And I told him, "You know what? I would have preferred you telling me, you're asking me, what do you want exactly? What are you looking? And not just coming to me saying, apparently you have high standards. I'm not gonna say, okay, don't worry, I'm gonna lower them just to work with you." You know what I mean? And I said, if I were a man, if I were a boy, if I were a man, you know, asking things to be done, it would be like he's a businessman or he's doing his thing. But a girl telling it just, you have too much high standards. No, I'm just working, and I want to do things, you know, the best way that I can. But people think, I don't know. It's more about the women thing. And
Candles and Crafts says people are intimidated by strong women who know what they want.
That's true.
I say weak people are intimidated.
Exactly.
But you see, one last thing too to just say on that. I don't know. For me, I feel like at the bank, that's where I feel the most pressure. Like especially if you get like a check from the States or something like that. I feel like, and I feel like it's an inner voice that I need to deal with because of those experiences. I feel suspicious myself. Like I suspect myself of doing something wrong. You get me? Because of these experiences. And that's something I got to deal with, because you make a transaction and they look at you like, okay.
True.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something that I want to get rid of.
Absolutely. And I think it's unfortunate to have those feelings. And I feel like for myself, I would say that the pressure for me is more when it comes to my family, because I feel like as a child of my mother, who was an immigrant, who migrated here, I feel that pressure to perform because they sacrifice
Mhm.
so much for us
Exactly.
to be able to have an education, for us to be able to succeed in life, to give us a better opportunity. I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to succeed also financially,
Sure.
to show them, you know what, your sacrifices, they were worth it. And when you choose the entrepreneurial route, it's even more pressure because
Mhm.
they would probably have preferred that we went the traditional route, get a job, get a degree, and make a good living. But then you decide to go, and for myself, it's like I decided to be an entrepreneur, but on top of that, I decided to work in the fashion industry. So it's like hard sometimes for them to understand. My mom was always supportive, but she always has to explain to the
Mhm.
family
Uh-huh.
what is she doing, you know? So I feel like that I think that that's more of the challenge, like to live up to the expectations of the family.
Okay. What about here's a comment. You only get one chance to make
Good.
a good first impression.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think about? I mean, you're doing something, you got to make sure it's done right, it's done properly, it's done professionally, because you know you have a bad impression and people said, "Oh, that they're not serious, or they don't know what they're doing." And
Mhm.
that could also be fuel to make you perform better too at the same time.
Hmm. You're
Wow.
talking about as a Black person.
As a black person, yeah,
Hmm.
you have that first impression. You have one chance. Maybe you're going to see a new client.
Hmm.
People
Mhm.
see your image, your brand, and you want to make sure that your brand is always held
Oh,
up to high regard. You don't want to
mhm.
slip, because if the people slip, I think something that maybe it's something within us as black people. We're always
Hmm.
quick to criticize, right?
Sure.
When people are successful, we're going to get the criticism anyway.
Mhm.
So it's either you do what you do, but we call it constructive criticism. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, that fuels some people. Some people, they kind of take it to heart sometime, and they
Hmm.
they start listening to those voices, and they say, you know what, they may give up.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever been in a position where you thought, oh my God, this is tough on me physically,
Hmm.
Oh my
mentally.
God.
Maybe the money's not what I expected. Has that ever crept into any of your minds?
Last week I was like that. You know, it's so weird. You said that you brought that because I started a talk show production, right? And I've received some comments. You know, people like they think, okay, you're gonna like they're comparing me with Oprah. I'm like, yo, Oprah, she's a multi like whatever millionaire, okay? And okay, you should put this, you should do this, you should do. It's really good like to receive feedback, but at the end of the day, I it's when you're black in business, like kind of entertaining business too, people try to compare you to the black one who had already a huge amount of success. You know what I mean? I'm not Oprah now.
Hmm.
Oprah started less than me. That's what I had to tell myself. You know, she did not have what I had now too when she started, and now she's.
Hmm.
But maybe 40 years ago, Oprah who? You don't know. You don't know her. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Exactly.
Sometimes, as an entrepreneur, you have to constantly talk to yourself. You need to
Hmm.
you need to be your best friend. You have to talk to yourself continually and telling yourself, it's not the likes or the views or the sales that validate my work. It's my work is already validated, because I put
Hmm.
it out there. I birth it, and birthing something takes a lot of remix. Birthing something, it's really hard, it's painful, so we need to give
Be
ourselves
gentle with ourselves.
exactly
Yeah.
gentle with ourselves, and having like entrepreneurs like that around us, telling us, if I okay, so Sabrina's gonna tell me, okay, I've experienced this, okay, good, listening to your stories, Vance, or someone else. You need to have a crew of entrepreneurs also around you to be able to overcome those fears, those like anxiety moments or
insecurities. Yeah.
insecurities. So
absolutely.
What was it? But
people, you are listening live. It's the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow project. We call it Head Start, launching your own business. Just want to as I said, shout out to 3737. People in the Black community, if you're looking for a place where you want to start up your business, you could go there. Within the Black ecosystem initiatives with the federal government, there's going to be some new organizations that are going to be around to help support Black entrepreneurs. There's also the traditional means. I always refer people to check Info Entrepreneur. There's funding. Where have any of you ever applied for funding? Is it your funding, your self-financed? What do you do about funding? Do you ever supports?
Well, it's
I haven't, so I'm not. I haven't used any type of funding, so I cannot speak on that.
Okay.
I'm not using any type of fundings either, but I've had experiences like looking for sponsorship, private sponsors, and now it's just me like putting the money into what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right. On my end, I've actually found sponsoring, and for anybody watching, there's something called STA, which is Soutenir Travailleurs
Autonome.
So if you're not working and you want to have the government pay you to work on your business, it's a very easy way to get funding. The funding I received on my end was through contests. I received a lot of different, got into a lot of different contests, whether it was Pitch the Dream, whether it was with the Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi, like these different organizations. I would just apply, give them my all, and I've got a lot of success that way. And one time with the Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi, they had an entrepreneurship forum where they selected like 10 entrepreneurs from the Montreal North area. And they basically kept us under their wing for about a year. So that was another beneficial moment for me as well.
Nice.
So there's Futurepreneur aussi.
Yeah, there's a lot of different resources and funding sources that are out there. I mean, that's one of the main things a lot of entrepreneurs, depending on what type of business you're doing, you're looking for supports. Those supports will be coming directly towards the Black community. But at this time also, I want to bring on Mr. Denberg Reed, who is the founder and president of the Montreal Community Cares Foundation. He's also a social entrepreneur. He's involved with so many different initiatives. And there is an award that was given to him this afternoon by Audley Coley of 7 Stages. So I would like to bring on Mr. Denberg Reed just to say a few words. There he is. Mr. Reed, how you doing, sir?
Yo, what's going on?
You see, Denberg's always in his car. He's always busy. So the car is his office. He's always on the move. So Denberg, we're just here to talk about, a little bit about what you're doing, what you have been doing in the community. 10-year anniversary coming up for your organization. Is it 10 years for the organization or for the awards?
For the awards.
For the awards, 10th year, and what's the date for that?
June 19th.
June 19th. It's going to be a virtual affair, the 10th annual Montreal Community Cares Foundation Awards. They're going to be honoring a lot of different people in the community, people who've contributed to the community, contributed to the organization to make the place better. But to this afternoon, Mr. Audley Coley from 7 Stages, he came and visited you. You were working as usual, and he brought to you 2 trophies, two awards. There was the big one, which stays at the home office, his place, and the little small one. So I just want you to say a few words about that. And Mr. Coley, he's very busy. Couldn't make it with us tonight. He's has a course which is going on at Concordia University right now. But we have the Honorable Mr. Denberg Reed, who is here with us.
This guy, the Honorable. So, first off, thank you guys for inviting me on tonight. I was listening to your conversation. It seemed like a very fruitful conversation. yeah, Audley showed up today at the office with two bags. Somebody called me, Mr. Reed, someone's here to see you. When I look out, it's Audley. I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's community, right? We
Mhm.
do because we care. We do to just help one another and uplift each other. And so I very much appreciate the award. I think it's my first trophy or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're used to giving out the awards, but it was pretty cool, and it was cool the way it was done. It was like straight street. Yo, hold this. Yeah, yeah. You got respect. You're doing a thing. So, you know, seeing Sven's here. He was an award winner for the Montreal Community Cares Awards back when
2017.
2017, and
Nice.
Brian Smith, you were also a winner. What
Yeah,
you
back in the day. When
Yo.
we just starting out. Back in the day.
Didn't want to sit here, but just for us to be on this call right now together, it shows that part of the mission is to build bridges and to build a community and bring us together. And this is part of it. What we're doing now is part of it. We're meeting each other for the first time. Some of you guys, I'm hearing you guys speak for the first time. Fashion, I need some suits and things.
Call me up.
I mean, that's just how the story goes. And when we talk about being successful and people talking you down or pulling you down, crabbing the barrel, the only way to fight that is with love, and the only way to fight that is by pulling each other up. And because the man beside you won't pull you up, that doesn't mean you won't pull him up. And you know what I mean? So do unto others how you'd want people to treat you and to do to you. So that's community. We got to keep it going. It's not easy. It's not easy. Business is not easy. Everybody's doing a business and we're trying to support everybody, but as you can see, there's lanes. Everybody's in the lane, and we can support each other once we're in the lane. On the community side of things, it's not a competition, and I hate when I feel sometimes like it's a competition rather than it becomes competition, and it's not a money thing. It's not a money thing. Everybody wants to eat, yes, but that doesn't mean you got to eat off of people plate, right? Stop thinking about it as a competition and think about it as impact. How can you make impact? How can you make impact for the next generation, right? Because at the end of the day, if you have kids or you got to make sure that your kids are straight, and you wouldn't want anybody coming up and taking advantage of your kids. And for me, I deal heavily in the corporate, but in sports, and I believe in the power of sports when it comes to youth development and the building self-esteem and all that stuff. So as a collective, you guys have so much knowledge on this platform. You guys have some knowledge in areas where I have zero knowledge or what have you. And it's just knowing, and I was telling you that the other day, Spence, is knowing what you know, right? And being confident in what you know. Don't be apologetic for what you know. Don't do it. But it's also being able to understand and take in those criticism or those feedback, because that's what's going to make you stronger. So what I know, and I know what I don't know, and what I don't know, I know who to go to. If I want to know about fashion, I know who to go to. If I want to know about mentorship, I know who to go to. If I want to know about collaboration and business and TV hosting and talk show hosting and all that, I know who to go to. You know what I mean? So it's that's how you build a community, and that's how you build bridges. We're supposed to love each other and not hate each other. Now, competition is good if competition is good from the heart. Who wants to be the number one talk show host? Who wants to be the number one fashion? That's okay. That's not, you know what I mean? But we got to find a way to do it and do it constructively, because all the other groups are doing it. All the other races are doing it. You know.
Well,
so
one
thank you guys for having me. I'm hungry. This is my Snicker moment.
No, but it's just one thing that everything you're mentioning too, Denberg, is that I think that we all have to hold up everybody. It's not as far as responsible, but also accountability too within the community as well. I just want to just say that with all the initiatives and the new initiatives specifically around entrepreneurship that's coming towards the community, it's a challenge to the organizations to deliver the services to their best of their ability so that the community can benefit. You know, we have to look and say that we're fortunate that financial resources are coming into the community now. It's a long time coming, but now that they're here, it's for us now to step up our game and make sure that there's impact that comes with the funding. There's changes that are going to take place. We're going to see more entrepreneurs. Then when our kids see that, then they themselves want to become entrepreneurs. And it's not just, we're not pointing at the finger where, wow, that person is an entrepreneur, where we're actually celebrating that person for what they're doing. You know, so it's kind of a mindset. There has to be a shift, because a lot of us were hardworking, but we're working for other people, but working for yourself, it's still a little bit of taboo. But we hold up those who are very successful because we see them on media and whatever the case may be. But we've got to change that mindset. And anybody out there tonight, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about going to business for yourself, overcome your fears and take that step. And as I said, there are resources and help that's going to be coming your way. As I said, I've mentioned other organizations. There's funding coming through, and I would take upon my responsibility to make sure that people are informed where they can go for these resources, where they come. If they're there, great. The people who are here, most of you are, self-financing sponsorship. You're taking care of your own thing, because as an entrepreneur, you have to also hunt. You have to be able to eat. If you don't hunt, you don't eat. There's no business. So it's one thing that also keeps you going. Madame Claradonna, I think you have something to say, because your hands are going like that. You have something to say?
Oh my God, it's just me always like.
It's the Italian, right? It's the
Pepperoni.
So, Brian, my computer is gonna die, and I know people gotta run. But what you just said, I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right. But when we're in the business of servicing, we just gotta service to the best of our ability, and use our platform to the best of our ability to service others, to whatever sell products, but to make sure that we're able to maybe mentor or internships. Those are great ways to uplift the next generation too. But I don't mean to dash out, but I had to say that before you guys just see a black screen, because my
all right. Well, thank you very much, Denberg. Jess, I just want to once again let the people know about we're going to be having a raffle for the Tampa Bay jersey. It's actually right now it's 8:17, so I think we're actually going to be closing up right now. There is the link. All you got to do is click on the link. You must complete the link for a chance to enter in a draw for the NHL jersey, Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay is actually, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, they're winning 4-0 around right now against Florida Panthers. If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, your team is actually winning 3-1 right now. This is the jersey that was actually going to be raffled for last night. That's an NHL jersey signed by Patrice Bergeron. So these are official jerseys from the NHL. The three of you, some final words before we close up for tonight.
Ladies first.
Go, Kitty.
Well, I mean, if you want to start your business, just do it now. Do it now. It's the time to do it, So I'm encouraging people to take a leap of faith and find resources. Never forget that the best resources in earth are human resources. So surround yourself with great people, to have great tips, and that's it.
Where can people? I would just like for each one of you just to say where people can get in contact with you.
Instagram, Catherine. Well, my name is my name written here or what?
No.
Clairdonna, Clerdonna, like Madonna, but Clairdonna, whatever. Or I have my website also. It's a www.catherineclairdonna.ca.
Okay. Sabrina.
For me, the last words would be that I truly believe that I'm a Christian, so I believe that God has put inside of us some gifts and some talents. And I believe that every single one of you who are watching, if you have a dream inside of your heart, if you have a calling inside of you and it's strong and you know that you have to do it, I'm encouraging you to do it, because there will not be a day that will pass by that you will regret walking into that calling, tapping into your full potential. So yes, it's going to be challenging. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, there's going to be things that are going to be happening that were not expected, but at the end of the day, it's going to be so worth it. There's nothing like it. So I'm encouraging you. You can contact me if you have questions, if you want to know more about the entrepreneurial journey, if you want to know more about the fashion industry as well. You can just DM me on Instagram. It's Sabrina Ariel, Ariel, stylist. Yeah, somebody just tagged me, so that's it. Stylist, exactly. So it would be a pleasure for me to be able to help you out. Don't hesitate. Get a coach, get people around you to help you, get a mentor, ask questions, be a student of the game, and just do your best. And I know for a fact that you will succeed at whatever you start. So much blessings.
Amazing.
Beautiful. What I would say, man, there's so much to say, but the last thing that I would say is to just don't give up. I know it sounds like overrated and we hear it again and again and again, but if at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again. Most businesses, they have to pivot. The first year when you come out with an idea, you might think that the game is like this or your industry is like that. When they look into studies, by the time you get to your third year, if you get to that third year, most people change completely their whole business model. So be willing and open to try again and to try different things. Do not fall in love with your idea to the point where you're not willing to be flexible to try new things. You might have something like speaking, for example, and then you realize, you know what, I'll make more money coaching. You feel me? So like be open and swing from one thing to pivot and to do what it takes and not to give up.
That's
All right. Well, great words, great words. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, this is Brian Smith here from the Youth Leaders of Tomorrow Project. I want to set a special shout out to Naisha Mendoza, to Rael Speed.
Yes, good job, girl.
I said Malik Shahid. I want to send a shout out to Tasia, to Tayana, to Regina, and Kayla, who are social media ambassadors. I want to send a special shout out to Jesse, who's doing the technical part. To the Montreal Community Cares Foundation, Youth Stars Foundation, Money Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi, Côte-des-Neiges, Canadian Heritage, and Domino's Pizza. I think I got everybody in there. Thank you very much, Mr. Audley Coley, for your presentation. Audley Coley is also a spokesperson for Bell Media for mental health. And also, too, people, as I said, this is Head Start, Launch Your Own Business. This is just basically a chit chat. And I think something with the pandemic, it allowed us to come together with these discussions, which probably would be, not say it wouldn't be impossible, but maybe a little bit more challenging. And we have this platform. Thank you for Malik for discovering StreamYard. It's very, very professional. Probably we're going to be, most people are using it. If you have a chance to check out StreamYard, people, check it out. It's very, very good for these types of discussions. And also I want to thank all of you who have been tuned in tonight. You've taken the time to listen. This event will be enregistré, it'll be recorded. You could go back, share it, like it, get the word out to all different types of people. We are here for you, for the community. In the survey, if you have any comments, once you get fill out the survey, get a chance to win the jersey. And also, too, I want to just close this up to saying happy birthday to somebody who's very, very, very special to me, my mother. So, Mama Valerie, happy birthday to you. And she's probably watching right now.
Oh, happy
Okay.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday. So,
birthday, Ms.
people,
Smith.
thank you. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Brian Smith from the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education, Money Money. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to have more discussions like this, please let us know. We're only one click away. Everybody, have a great evening. I'm out.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.